For today's project, we're going to build this really easy farmhouse trim work. Let's get started.
Like I said earlier, this is a really simple project, but there are a few pieces that you've got to kind of think through before you do it. So let's start with the main piece of what I call the I-beam trim. And this is the backer board. So this board, we have to figure out how wide you want it. And this is going to be subjective. You may want a beefier looking beam for a longer distance, or you may want to make it match your trim, which is what we're going to do. We custom milled our trim. This is a 1x4, which actually measures 3.5 by 3/4, obviously. But we routed an edge over all of the trim that we did throughout the project house. So what I want to do is make the visible part of the face the same width as our trim. So 3.5 inches, plus we're going to put a piece of trim board on here, kind of like a crown molding type of thing. It's actually a chair rail, but it's going to look like a crown molding when we get it into the I-beam. So what I need to do is determine how wide this piece of trim is and make sure that my reveal still is equal to the amount of trim I've got elsewhere in the house. That makes, for our math, that makes our back of our I-beam trim piece be 5 inches. Okay, so what I've done, we've already ripped this down. This is a piece of reclaimed pine. I like to use reclaimed wood whenever we can. We're also using some pre-primered stuff. So when we paint this, we'll have to take an extra step with this particular piece. So what we've done is we took our same trim, that's the 3.5 inch wide trim. I've ripped it in half to make the lower parts of my I-beam trim. Moving down to the end, we've got to figure out how we want the end of our I-beam to look. So this is a 3/4 inch wide board. Again, this is my same trim that I use throughout the house, 3.5 inches across, 3/4 inch, but I ripped it right down the center. So this made this just a little bit less than 1 3/4 inch because of the blade width that you take out of it. So what I want to do is determine how I want this to look. So I have a 3/4 inch reveal this way against the back to the face, and then I want a 3/4 inch reveal here. So let's get that set. And I'm going to have that on both ends, so both ends are going to look the same. Now, my wife and I had a conversation about how we wanted the top of the I-beam to look. So if you wanted it to be completely symmetrical, to where this face and this face line up across the way here, then you're going to have to compensate for your trim piece, which is 3/4 inch, or what I'm going to call the crown molding or chair rail piece that goes in there. That's 3/4 inch. If your OCD makes you want to, let's see if I can line it up here on this table I'm working on. So 3/4 inch here and here. Let me just get this right for you. And then you've got these planed together, then you're going to have to make them both longer to accommodate for the little piece of trim that you're going to put on there. A lot of the farmhouse movement, which has been very popular over the last decade or so, this would have been all you would do. Right here, your I-beam would be done. You'd attach those, you'd be done, and your trim would come down off of it, like so. So there's a lot of door frames done like that. But we've made little extra things all throughout this house with trim work, not so much to make it look like an old Victorian granny house, but enough to make it set it apart so that it's better than all the other houses in the neighborhood. So that's why we have some custom features going on in here. So we determined, my wife and I, when we were looking at doing this, that we didn't mind having the offset side. So I'm going to leave 3/4 inch down here. Then we're going to put our trim piece in here that's going to come out another 3/4 inch. And then another 3/4 stick out. So it makes it look like it builds bigger as it goes. So all right, so here's what we're going to do. I've kind of showed you where our goal is. Now we're going to actually kind of put it together. So again, I pre-cut these pieces. So these two are already at length. This was cut, and we 45'd both ends of it. These are the ones that you got to be careful with when you're using your compound miter saw. I always cut my bevel first, then come back and cut this piece, because you don't want your fingers in here. You got to keep your fingers away from that blade. So the safest way to cut it, I think, is to cut it with the bevel first, and then cut the little piece, and hopefully your blade doesn't kick it halfway across. But anyway, you're making these out of the scrap pieces, so it just doesn't matter. All right, so our measurements are done. Now I'm going to turn on the air compressor, and we're going to start to assemble this. Let me tell you this before we turn the loud part on. When we're going to assemble this, we're going to stand the back up like this, and we're going to put this on here. We're going to measure it to where the 3/4 overhang is, and then this part is flush. Everything on the back of this is going to be flush. You're also going to notice when I hold my nail gun, I'm going to hold it at a slight angle backwards, because as the nail penetrates through this grain, sometimes it'll curve, and you don't want it coming out the face. Sometimes it's inevitable, but for the most part, if you just tilt that back just a touch, then if it's going to protrude out, it'll come out the back and you can nail it back down. So I'm going to turn the air compressor on, and I'm going to show you how we put all this together. What I'm shooting is 16 gauge nails with my air setup. I'm at about 110 pounds per square inch on there. I'm going to go down here and nail it about every foot. Okay, so then we're going to turn it over and do the same thing with the top one, but remember, our top piece is longer, so instead of the 3/4 of an inch, we're going to go for a full 1.5 inches. Like I mentioned, sometimes they will protrude out. This one shot out here pretty good. That's why you don't have your fingers in the way, by the way. But I would much rather that it comes out the back of the piece than the front, because on the back it doesn't matter. Take yourself some wire cutoffs, and I'm just going to bend it up to where I can get to it good. And right at the protrusion point, I'm going to take it off. Now, if it still bothers you, or you're afraid it's going to kick it against the wall, which it will, just take your screwdriver and recess that down in there with some kind of a hole punch of some kind. Go down through there, then it'll sit flush against the wall, and everything will be just fine. Like I said, it happens. You would prefer it to come out the back than the front. So I'm going to clean these up, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so I'm going to put just a spacer underneath there. This is a beautiful tabletop I'm working on. I just don't want to accidentally shoot through and attach to it. So you're going to put your first staple in to hold it after you get it all lined up. And then we're going to come in from this one. Now, it's very easy, particularly if you're using the pine version of this. I don't like the MDF version of these moldings. I still use the real wood pine. And it's very easy to split this. If you do, just go make you another piece. Don't get mad about it. But we're going to try and put it up here in the bulk part of it. And I'm going to try and run it to where it doesn't run into the same grain point. And put it in there just like that. Now, it did split a little bit, but it's firmly secured. You can glue this if you want to. Don't have to. You can glue the face and glue it there if you want to. You don't have to. So I'm going to go down to the other end and repeat this process. So here we go. So I've shown you some of the things that can go wrong while you're doing this. And keep in mind, you're using wood products. It splits. So that piece went in. The other end's just fine. So we are now ready. I'm going to go down through here and put a few more staples in my crown molding or my chair rail piece. And then we're going to take a good look at this new I-beam header before we put it in. Hey everybody, I'm Jim Viebrock with Maintenance Minute, and I'm standing in the middle of a project house that we've been working on for a little while. One of the things about social media and YouTube and places like that is there's all kinds of people on there telling you that you can get rich owning real estate. And there's no doubt about it, owning real estate can be very, very profitable. But the realities of it is hot, dirty, nasty work. Next thing you know, you're undoing some nasty old toilet, or you're trying to clean up after you pulled the insulation down out of a house like we did on this one. Just remember, there is riches in real estate, but you're going to have to work for it, and it's hard, hot, dirty work. I'm Jim Viebrock. Please go to maintenanceminute.net for more information. Once you've got it all fastened together, you're going to take some spackle, and I'm just going to go down through here and fill in my individual holes down through here. And then those staple marks disappear. Same thing, Down here where we had that little bit of a fracture, if you decided to leave it. Now, we're going to take the same spackle and we're just going to work it into that joint like this. Just use your finger. Just work it in there both directions. And when you're ready to paint, this seam will completely disappear and it'll be absolutely perfect every time. Now, one other thing that I like to do before we're done is when this is up against the wall, I'm going to run a bead of caulk between this surface and the wall surface. Same thing all the way around. I'm going to put a bead of caulk all the way around there. I'm going to run a bead of caulk here, and I'm going to run a bead of caulk here and here. And I'm going to smooth it all out with my finger, and that makes all of those seams go away. It'll look like one solid piece. And when we're done, we'll take it over, and we will then attach it to our trim work like that. Isn't that going to be beautiful?
If you enjoyed today's project, check out some of the other trim work and woodworking videos that I have on my channel. And while you're here, please like and subscribe so you don't miss a single project. Are you interested in woodworking or home repair? If so, please look at maintenanceminute.net. Hi, I'm Jim Viebrock, and I'm the host of Maintenance Minute. From my website, you can watch videos on how to build a variety of arts and crafts projects, full-on woodworking builds, and home repair and remodeling tips, too. We recently added an archive section where you can see over 40 years of projects that I have built. Please take a moment and visit maintenanceminute.net.